Hello everybody and welcome to the video. Today we're going to be talking about offensive linemen that we will be seeing in the 2025 NFL draft, ranking them, talking about them, and kind of just taking a look at what they do well and what they don't do so well. The first guy on this list, my number one offensive lineman, is going to be Tyler Booker, the Alabama left guard heading into his junior year. Pretty big dude too, listed at 6'5", 335. And the first thing we'll talk about is the anchor and the power that Booker possesses. It was definitely eye-popping after watching some of the other guys in this class. He was a lot more consistent, and he's in the SEC. It's not like he's seeing a lack of power rushers or guys that are capable of pushing offensive linemen back. He just, time after time could hunker down and deal with some of that power. And it was, like I said, a little bit better than the rest of the class. And his hands were a big part of his success. Booker was able to leverage guys and make sure to keep the lanes and angles clear for the running back. And you're like, well, what part of blocking in the run do your hands play a part in? And a lot of it is hand placement and getting to a point where you can leverage with both your length, like arm length, and then the ability to just kind of lift and then keep that side clear, or whatever it was, influencing the offensive lineman the right way. And hand placement and hands in general, strength, grip, all that good stuff, all plays a part in that aspect of the game. Talked about his anchor being consistent, but so is his play. His overall play was super consistent. I don't think there was like one bad play that sticks out. It wasn't like put on the ground. There was no like push pull to the point where holy crap, like that is, he moves down a rank because of that play. He didn't really have a defining like bad play, and that to me really impressed, because there are some bad ones in this class, like some bad plays and reps, but with Tyler Booker it was a lot more consistent. Shows great movement while engaged with a rusher to maintain good positioning, plus he had some short area fluidity on combos and in zones. And when you're talking about bigger guys and you're just kind of digging out in the trenches, it's not always just power and who can win the strength battle, if you will. But you see a speed rusher, he's going to try to go outside. Okay, you're going to get your hands on him, but nothing's to say you can stick with him. Tyler Booker did a great job moving in, like I said, kind of fluid in those short areas where he could maintain good positioning and keeping himself in front of the rusher that he was seeing rep to rep, and did a good job actually adjusting with different edge rushers as well. But just as we'll talk about for every other lineman in this class, he did have a problem, and I'm starting to think it's kind of just a college thing, or like something that they aren't taught yet, or something that they haven't adjusted to. But he occasionally gets a little top heavy, him less than others in this class, but where your head is over your knees and you're like all in on the block, and then boom, you get taken advantage of in that moment that you are again too top heavy and putting too much of your top half effort in, or over, like I said, your knees and whatnot. Struggles against elite speed, whether it's a really good jump or just a great lateral jump to get around him right away. And I think a lot of people are going to say, well, yeah, no crap, he struggles against elite speed. It's elite speed for a reason. Not everyone has it. And so when he sees it, it is a little bit of a struggle for him, but it is for every other lineman. I just needed something to put in this cons column for sure. But to me, this is clearly the best interior offensive lineman in this class. Enough said. Tyler Booker, my number one, far and out pretty easily. Number two on this list is Georgia's Tate Ratledge. He plays on the right side, unlike Tyler Booker, who plays on the left. And instead of heading into a junior year, Tate Ratledge will be heading into his senior year. He is a little bit taller though, 6'6", 310, and he looks the part. He looks big. I really like the way his feet kind of trail with the rest of his body. He reacts well to lateral movements and keeps his feet active to mirror to the movements he's seeing. And when you have a speed rusher, he's trying to dip outside or try to use that bend. I liked the ability. Like I said, he was a little bit taller, but he still moved outside really well. And like I said, the lateral movements keep his feet active and then mirror what you're seeing while keeping good position. And like I said, the feet moving and trailing with the rest of his body was pretty good. He's definitely not the fastest guy, but he's fairly effective on shorter pull blocks. And most of the time, it just looks like defenders are hitting a wall. Sometimes you have like a blitzing linebacker on one side or a wide 9 edge rusher, and the guard from the opposite side, or even the tackle, can pull block over to I guess take care of that assignment, if you will. So he's good there. He's not really going to pull out into space on a pull block or anything, and he's really going to make an impact because he's a little bit slower, but he gets from one side of the line to the other and like I said, kind of just makes the defender hit a wall, if you will. He's pretty big and stout, and he hits hard. I love the way he can set up defenders. You know, it's kind of fun to watch. He'll come off the snap, get real low, and just hold leverage at a lower and great angle. To be honest, when you're someone that big, you expect to kind of just, you know, you expect to be a hoss, you know, you're pretty big, but no, instead there's literally plays where he gets in a jump set, which is where you go towards the defender instead of dropping back, and he goes into him, gets real low, and literally just keeps it all there. He's all business, and he's right there in your face, and there's nothing you do about it because he's there really quick and he's got control over the rep. There's not much else you can really do. And like I said, he kind of sets it up that way and holds leverage, and like I said, at a great like lower angle to keep the leverage. His hand placement and grip strength stood out right away, and the more I watched, the more he used his hands, and it was very consistent doing so. And the more it stood out, to be honest, the more you watch, you know, you don't think it's a fluke the one time he did it, and 3 games in, it's just become a staple in his game that he can sit there, and like I said, the hand placement but also the grip strength was really good for Tate Ratledge. And we talked about hand placement in a different way for Tyler Booker than it is for Tate Ratledge, because he's a lot more on the power side when I was talking about reach and leverage on Tyler Booker, or for Tyler Booker. But Tate Ratledge, a lot more of the brute hand stuff, I guess, hand play. Now we talked about it, he is a bigger guy and tries to play a little lower, so he gets top heavy at times, and skilled interior pass rushers were able to get through. And when I say skilled, that's more, you know, those technologically sound ones that will take advantage of one shoulder dipping past your thigh, or he's seeing this coming, or he's seen this the last 3 snaps, he's going to take advantage of it this snap. Like the plan, like I said, more skilled, maybe experienced defensive linemen have a better time against Tate Ratledge because of like I said, a little top heavy. Talked about it with Tyler Booker. We'll be talking about it throughout the video because it's a thing with these guys, and especially with Ratledge, because he is a little bit taller, it does stand out a little bit more and gets taken advantage a little bit more, and it's a bit more effective against him being that size. There's a lot of strength and winning in simpler ways in college. I think in the NFL, he'd get figured out pretty quick and get beat by good pass rushers, especially from the interior side of things. When you're looking at speed, I think he could have struggled there. But like I said, you win in simple ways in college. Most of the time, it's, you know, a tussle in the inside of the line. And like I said, kind of the trench play. It's, you know, sometimes about the grind or the battle that's happening down there. And I said in the NFL, I think he'd get figured out pretty quick. And I mean, all these guys pretty much would, but Tate Ratledge, especially because he is pretty much power, take you with your hands and just hold you right where you are, leverage, like I said, top heavy at times. So it can kind of go both ways. It definitely works really well at the college level, but I can't wait to see him this year, maybe against a little bit more experienced rushers, especially with more experience under his belt, and see what this offseason did for him. I see one thing in particular where if he fixes that, I might have to be a bit higher on Ratledge come draft time, and he could be up there the same tier as Tyler Booker if Tyler Booker stays where he's at and Tate Ratledge improves. It could go both ways. I like Tate Ratledge a lot, and like I said, a little bit bigger, but does some of these things really well, and it definitely stood out. So we'll have to see where Tate Ratledge ends up come draft time, but talking this early summer scouting, still my offensive lineman too. Very impressive. Next, we have the Swiss Army knife, Jonah Monheim out of USC, heading into his redshirt senior year. A little bit older and listed at 6'5", 305, a little lighter, but we'll hit on that. He played left tackle, right tackle, and right guard this past year with USC, just kind of plugging in gaps and wherever they needed him to play. But I think he's expected to move to center this upcoming season. So we'll have to see, you know, at least he's moving to the interior. I know that. So I saw a little bit of the tackle tape. I don't know if I think I saw one game when he was a guard, but yeah, we'll hop right in. And like most interior offensive linemen, he's nimble and a bit of a quicker mover, especially 6'5", 305, a little bit lighter, not a whole lot of weight on him, and he did a great job moving around. And I think that he was pretty nimble, like I said, pretty fluid, and actually adds some quickness to him. He has a really good get off, and sometimes he doesn't, backpedal. Instead, he'll slide or shuffle to the edge instead of sink in the pocket. And so instead of getting off and then, if you're seeing speed, getting in your backpedal, getting back quick, instead he will literally get up, jump set right into the defender's face, and it's quick. It's really surprising, I'd have to assume, for a defender too, because one snap, you're going back, especially playing a tackle like Jonah Monheim or Monheim. I don't know. I should do my research, but not that technical here, I guess. I gotta improve on that. But one play ago, he was just going back, he was backpedaling, he was pretty meh, and then the next play just fires out of his stance and takes you by surprise. So I can see that getting a little jump scary for an edge rusher. But he can start the rep with an advantage and gets the defender where he wants him. He can control that rep. It doesn't matter. He kind of, doesn't give the defender enough time to set up anything, and like I said, kind of jumps into his face and says, what are you gonna do, where are you gonna go? And it just gets right in there, and like I said, gets him in a good start, gets him where you want him. It start with that advantage and control the rep. He was pretty good at doing that when he got the jump on some of the defenders he saw. I do though see him struggle against some power. I think he's a bit light on his feet and can't really withstand a good bull rush, someone that's getting the right hand placement and then just driving through the whistle. He's not going to hold up well against that sort of thing, and that's why I think the move inside could be a little bit better for him, especially if he improves that anchor. Why am I saying the anchor? It's probably pronounced anchor, ANCHOR, but it's anchor because it's the English language and it's dumb. But anyways, I think if he improves on that and he still can stay light on his feet, whatever, he can withstand a bull rush, probably not a really good one still. He is just genuinely light. He's a good mover and gets to where he needs to be. There's just plays when he gets managed or doesn't hold up when defenders want it more, if you will. And that's kind of just the way I'd put it, because when you see some of these defenders that just don't stop, they're, like I said, through the whistle or at the point of attack, especially, it's a lot of like you're seeing red. You have the running back in sight and you have this dumb little offensive lineman in the way. He's going to try to do whatever you can to get him out of the way. There's times where Monheim, probably should just use first name, Jonah, will, I don't know, maybe settle a little bit, or like, okay, where are you gonna go? Like I said, kind of settles and then gets managed or doesn't hold up when a defender wants it more. Like I said, if you want to use that, I don't really know. I couldn't find a better way to put it into words at the time I was taking the note and right now. So overall, I did think he struggled against pure power, but he's nimble enough to hand against any speed rush he sees. I don't know what time a day I'm making. It has to be like 2 a.m. when I'm doing this, but he's nimble enough to hand against any speed rush he sees. What the hell does that mean? We'll rephrase here, but he's nimble enough to hold up against any speed rush he sees. Boom, mind explode. I'm so dumb. We talked about Alabama's left guard at the top of this list, but now we have Alabama right guard Jaeden Roberts, the redshirt junior, 6'5", 316, a little bit smaller than his teammate, or I guess lighter. I think 335 Tyler Booker weighed in, which, I mean, nuts. But you know what's nuts about Jaeden Roberts? The brute strength and demeanor that Roberts has and plays with is something to root for. You look at a guy like this, a nasty streak, if you will, and like I said, the brute strength and demeanor, attitude, whatever you want to say, it's there. And like I said, it's easily something to root for and easily one of the most fun things to watch in an offensive lineman, or in the category or archetype of an offensive lineman. One that doesn't care, one that'll throw a guy around, and one that will break a defender's arm if he has to. When he's in a one-on-one situation, power versus power, he's winning that almost every time, if not every time, every game, whatever you want to say. He has some extraordinary times, and like I said, the brute strength and demeanor kind of plays into this same note here. But when he's one-on-one, like I said, power versus power, put him against Mason Graham even, and just let them bull rush let's see who wins, because I actually have my money on Jaeden Roberts. He moves well and actually has a mobile platform around the line if he needs to switch to another gap, cover or blitz, or even get to his center or tackle to help with them. And that's something that kind of stands out right away, because when you kind of piece the pieces together that we have brute strength, amazing demeanor, one-on-one power versus power, he doesn't lose, and then add a mobile platform to that. And like I said, if he just needs to, shuffle over a couple of steps and cover another gap, maybe pick up a blitz or help out a teammate along the line, he can do that. So it projects well in terms of what he can and cannot do. It's not like he can only sit down against one guy and then try to hold up as strong as he can in one gap. He's not like that, and shows at least the ability to have that mobile platform. When I say he's got some power and, like I said, some of that demeanor, strength, the things we've used 30 times to describe Jaeden Roberts already, is because he goes all out. And I saw that get taken advantage of because he overreaches and oversets trying to set a standard for power, or he's just trying to kill the guy right off the line, and boom, gets gone because overreach, overset. Like I said, he just goes all out because he has power, and he's gonna put just as much into it as he did last time. And maybe the defender sees that coming and takes advantage of it. I somewhat worry about the few plays I saw when he didn't help, where it was clearly needed, or just didn't block the right guy in certain situations. Total awareness is valuable on the offensive line. And did you know that's a thing? The offensive line, you guys need to be aware, they need to be in tune. If you see your center getting demolished or beat, if he's in a one-on-one situation and you're double teaming with the tackle, but the tackle's got it, switch over to the center because he needs help. He's getting well past you, your peripheral, you should be able to see your center getting driven back into the pocket. So maybe slide on over there, give him a hand. But there's times where he just didn't do that, and then, like I said, maybe cover the right guy or block the right guy in certain situations. It was a little worrying. When he's advancing to the second level or on a pulling block, Roberts will slow down, try to anchor instead of moving and blocking at the same time. He just needs to keep moving because it kind of leads to him being avoided by quicker defenders, and also setting early, so when the ball carrier goes past him, it's easier to disengage. And I guess this is a long way of saying he settles too early, or he thinks that the defender's just gonna stick with him. But no, you're the blocker, you need to be attacking, so you stick with the defender instead of the defender sticking with the block. It doesn't make sense. You can outrun him. So when he's going, he needs to do a better job of continue to go and attack instead of sitting there, getting to the second level, and then like you see a linebacker, you stop and you wait for the linebacker to come to you, but it turns out your running back is just to your right, and the linebacker's too quick for Roberts, gets right past him. It's kind of hard to explain, but he'll slow down and try to anchor instead of moving and keeping his feet going along with the block. With Jaeden Roberts, there's power there. He's just too one-dimensional right now, and I think he showed the ability to kind of get out of that one dimension, but there are far too many things in Jaeden's game that could be exploited in the league. Something I'm projecting him to get a lot better at. I have high hopes for Jaeden Roberts, and a reason he is higher than some of the other guys on this list. I do think he can fix some of this stuff, and we'll see what he can do in 2024 with Alabama in his redshirt junior year. Next guy we'll talk about Ohio State's Donovan Jackson, left guard heading into his senior year. Was talked about in the draft, I believe, early last year. Then he's coming back, and 6'4", 320 is what he's listed at. I think he flashes amazing ability to mirror movements in a one-on-one scenario, and also move in short areas well, and combo blocks are just filling a zone, and something that I see, and especially with Tyler Booker, 335, he does a good job, left to right and whatnot. But Donovan Jackson, same sort of thing, a little bit heavier though, 320, flashes amazing ability to, like I said, kind of in one-on-one scenario to kind of keep tabs and do the dance with the defender, and also move well in short areas when I'm talking about like a combo block, and like I even said, filling a zone or helping out a teammate. When he's in a jump set and he's the one engaging contact, he shows better power, hand placement, and just overall control of the rep. I don't think that he was great when he's sinking into the pocket and then had to withstand something that maybe he would be better at if he were to just go to them and attack the defender. And like I said, just better power, hand placement, and overall control. There's a little lint thing there, I don't know, but I don't know why. Donovan Jackson, when he moves to and attacks the defender, he did a better job overall. He's had some moments in the run game for sure where he's clearing gaps, whether it's on a pull block or just driving guys out of the way. I think he's had his moments and flashed some great ability in the run game. We talked about the light on his feet almost sort of deal where you're moving well in short areas. It kind of showed up too in the run where he can push guys up and, like I said, kind of mirror and control. And then the same thing with the jump set, and he's the one engaging contact. He shows, you know, better power and overall like just dictates a little bit better. Kind of stands out in the run game as well, where he's clearing gaps and kind of just driving guys around or, you know, moving guys out of the way. But to be honest, I don't think his acre can withstand a good club move or even a simple bull rush with any above average power, especially in a vertical set. If he's sliding, he's already got some of that drifted outside. He needs, like I said, to be the one engaging and maybe attacking, so he's not so susceptible to this, where he is just getting pushed back, or like I said, any above average power almost seems a little too much, and when it only gets exacerbated in a vertical set when he's blocking, it's, I don't know. I don't know. Like I said, it's weird. I think he needs to keep his head on a swivel and get better when floating in a zone or, you know, assisting his center or tackle in those sort of situations. He needs to be a little bit more aware, and kind of talked about with Jaeden Roberts. There's just times where, whoops, you can't do that because, you know, your teammate's helping out or your teammate is getting, you know, bull rushed or beat, to be honest, and just need to go help him out, or assisting the block but doesn't really do it and maybe just seems a little oblivious to it. There's times linebackers were able to move around, under, or even through him, which that's the reason he's kind of this low for me. I don't think I'm really up to consensus with Donovan Jackson. I like some of the stuff and I can see why people are a little higher on him, and maybe he added weight this offseason. You know, now he's listed at 320. I don't know what he was listed at last year, but I just saw a bit too much that I wasn't really a fan of. And like I said, the linebacker thing really kind of took me by surprise. You don't expect linebackers or to take this note, especially with interior offensive linemen, where, you know, you might struggle one-on-one with a linebacker. It's just not really common, and something I saw that maybe a lot of people won't agree with or didn't see on the tape. I don't know. I just thought he struggled a little bit in those scenarios. Clay Webb, the last guy on this list, the left guard for Jacksonville State. He's heading into his redshirt senior year, so a lot of time in college football. 6'3", 290 pounds. I think the lightest guy we're talking about. The way he moves looks very fluid and light on his feet, like he is 290. And I think he still looks pretty built, or big, I guess. I wouldn't say built at all. Amarius Mims is built. Clay Webb, not so much. But you look at the fluid ability and it kind of matches up with the 290 pounds you see on paper. Takes care of angles and understands the run game in terms of where to be and where he needs to apply some of that leverage, where he needs to use you know, his length, and like I said, apply leverage, kind of get those gaps wider or set that edge or whatever it needs to be. He understands, and it looks like he's a little bit smarter than some in this class, and it could come with experience. We talked about redshirt senior. He's seen his time in college football for sure. Webb was clearly better than his opponents and peers in virtually every way. But if you're playing at that level, you need to look elite. You need to look better than your teammates. You need to look better than the competition you're seeing. And he did. So it's like a box checked instead of a disappointing, you know, cross through that you're like, well, he did struggle against the Hillsbury High School. I don't know. Awareness and moving from one spot to another in one zone was so effortless and such a strong strength for him. And what I'm basically trying to say here is, boom, you have this, what, probably 3, maybe 2 yards of space that you are responsible for. And when he's moving either through multiple defenders, as I'm fixing my hair, you know, you might be keeping tabs on a blitzer in the middle of the field or someone that could be coming in hot, but instead you still have to worry about the edge. So kind of just slide right back over to him, or quickly adjust or move. And it was just good, and like I said, kind of effortless, and it was such a strength for him. There were actually times he lost to power, whether he let the defender into his pads or he just couldn't anchor. Both happened, where, you know, you see a good bull rush, it's gonna work because it's a good bull rush. Like Webb at 290, it looks a little bit more significant. Maybe he's not as strong against that sort of power, so you do see him get driven back. And then there are times where he just like literally leans in, hands out, and says, take my pads. I'm begging you. I don't know what it is, but Clay Webb, like all this time, all this experience he has, and he still lets his pads free at times, and it did kind of confuse me a little bit. Wasn't always perfect when he was at the point of attack and needed to hold on for that extra second or so. And a lot of this is kind of just keep driving the guy instead of going for about the first 2-3 seconds of the play, and then you assume the runner is elsewhere, and so you can kind of like just hold where you're at, and if he comes towards you, then you stop him. But there's times where he does that, settles, stops, and then the running back's not where he expected him to be by that point, or whatever the situation is. The point of attack was a weak point for him. And when I mean point of attack, how do I explain this here? Where the running back's running behind you, and the second he gets right behind you, the defender wants to pounce, he wants to get to him. And like I mentioned earlier, where you're kind of seeing red and you see this dumb offensive lineman in your way, when you're just looking at the running back and you want to get to the running back. So you want to get off at the point of attack in time to get to the running back. And that's kind of where the point of attack is, and where I thought Clay Webb struggled. He was clearly playing against lower level competition. He looks every bit capable against those guys. I still saw some things that got him in trouble at that level though. He's old, experienced, and a smart offensive lineman that was actually a Georgia Bulldog at one point in his career. He still has his weaknesses at Jacksonville State after however many years. Probably the oldest guy on this list. Like I said, looked every bit capable against these guys at this level, but still some things I look at and think they could be a little bit better. Anyways, that's the video, and you guys will be seeing defenders up next. I believe we should probably have the defensive lineman video up next here, and then move towards all of defense. We'll get all of the position groups done. We are officially done with offense, which is sick, and we've gotten through all of those, and those are all in a playlist on my channel. If you guys want to go check out the rest, I've done quarterbacks, running backs, wide receiver, tight ends, offensive tackles, and like I am now doing in what the video you're watching, and obviously this is the offensive lineman. So if you guys enjoyed, go ahead and leave a like. If you guys want to help out, go ahead and subscribe. I don't know why I'm being so corny with this, but go watch any of the past content on the channel. It would mean a lot, and I'll see you guys next time. Deuces.